I want us to put our attention on the wicked servant who, instead of trading with a gold coin, decided to store it safely in his handkerchief and wasn't able to trade anything useful. And he says that he didn't do anything because he was afraid. So today, I want to offer you a brief reflection on fear. Because I think fear is something that we all experience, so it's useful to meditate about it. So this wicked servant said, because I was afraid, I decided not to do anything, and now I can only give you back what you gave me. And the first thing I want to say about fear is that fear normally is irrational. How many times are we afraid of things that are not even there? For example, when we're small kids, we're afraid of the darkness because we imagine that there are fears in the dark. There are monsters in the dark. But there is not really anything in the dark. But when we become older, we're still afraid of things that are not really there. We make up things that are not there. Sometimes we're afraid of things that are really there, but many times we make up the things that we're afraid of. The other characteristic of fear is that it paralyzes us. When someone is afraid, what fear does in you, it makes you unable to act. And that's what the servant says. I did nothing because I was afraid. How many times have you been paralyzed by fear? So I want to share something from my own life that perhaps can help us illuminate what I'm trying to express. Many years ago, I was doing my master's program for theology, and then I had to write a thesis. And I was very afraid of writing a thesis because I had no previous experience writing an investigation. I was very scared of it. Was it rational to be afraid of it? Not really. I think there's people who are less smart than me, than they've done their thesis. But because I was afraid, I was paralyzed. Every day I said, today I'm going to write my thesis, and I put it on my to-do list. And every day I found a way not to do it. I found an excuse not to do it. Why? Because fear paralyzes you. And fear makes you run away from those things. So let's finish this homily with a couple of questions. Number 1, is there any irrational fear in your life? Are you afraid of something that perhaps is not worth being afraid of? Are you making up monsters in the dark that are not really there? What is scaring you? And this thing that's scaring you, is it really there? Second question, is this fear paralyzing you like the wicked servant? Is there any aspect of your life that you're being paralyzed by and failing to act like me, failing to do my thesis? Third, do you understand that the true Spirit of God is not a spirit of cowardice, but a spirit of courage? Are you inspired by this Holy Spirit that moves you to face your fears and acknowledge that you're not alone, but always accompanied by the Lord? How many times does Jesus say in the Gospels, do not be afraid? Doesn't he tell Peter, do not be afraid? So today, brothers and sisters, in this Holy Mass, let us be filled with the Holy Spirit, especially when we receive the Eucharist. That this Eucharist may fill us with the spirit of courage that comes from the Lord, to be able to overcome our irrational fears and to be able to move and face the things that paralyze us.